If someone asked you to name 5 keyboard and mouse Fortnite Pro players, you would easily do that. Peterbot, Vino, Clicks, Vico, and Cold. Boom, done. It's so easy because basically any pro you think of is on keyboard and mouse. But when I ask you to name 5 pro controller Fortnite players, you say Mero and then struggle to come up with another one. Now, why is this, and should it concern you? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain to you all the benefits of playing keyboard and mouse that these pros so clearly desire. First of all, let's talk about aim. So clearly aim assist is the first thing that comes to mind when talking about this. If you've been around for a while now like I have, you would know that controller aim assist has been absolutely terrible before, it has been absolutely insanely powerful before, and it has been average before. This is an issue because now your aim, which is a skill that is so fundamentally important, is now affected and changed around literally depending on the software updates to the game. Whereas keyboard and mouse has mostly stayed consistent throughout the entire lifespan of the game in terms of software updates, which is very important to pros trying to make a consistent career out of this. Now, I would also argue that when aim assist is fairly balanced, keyboard and mouse's potential for aim is way better than controller. This is because on keyboard and mouse, you have your entire arm to make tiny adjustments really quickly and accurately. Way more so than on controller where you literally just have your thumb on a tiny joystick. And the last plus about aiming on keyboard and mouse is that you now get to use third-party aim trainers like Kovacs, etc., which is how so many pros got their insane aim. No aim training map in Fortnite comes even close to being comparable with third-party aim trainers like Kovacs. Now, even though controller can be fast sometimes if you up the sensitivity, on keyboard and mouse you can basically instantly do a 180 at the one swipe of an arm. Whereas on controller, it takes quite a bit more time to do that, especially if you're not super high sensitivity. Now that we've got aim and movement covered, let's talk about binds. First of all, on keyboard and mouse, you have over 100 different keys that you can bind anything to, whereas on a normal controller, you have about 20 buttons, which makes customizability way harder. Also on controller, you won't be able to use scroll wheel reset, which is a massive advantage for keyboard and mouse players. And lastly, on controller, you actually have to press an extra button to open your builds map and then pick the build you want to use. Unlike on keyboard and mouse where you just click the one bind that goes straight to the build. But anyways, apart from these software/hardware issues with controller, there's some more issues that you probably haven't thought of. If you've owned a controller for a long time, you'll know how many problems they get. Where the buttons start sticking, just stop working, or you get stick drift and so on. But keyboard and mouse tends to be a lot more durable, only really breaking when you do something stupid like throw them. Now, another really interesting thing to realize is that after your Fortnite career, you might want to move over to another esport. Just like Vujcich did with Valorant. And guess what, bro? Most other esports are also keyboard and mouse dominated. So obviously it's going to be better for you to get insane at keyboard and mouse on Fortnite competitive so you can then move your skill over to the next esport you play. Anyways, now that it's actually completely clear to you on why most pros use keyboard and mouse, you might have a few questions like, should I switch to keyboard and mouse? When should I do it? And how do I do it? Well, especially if you aren't already a decent competitive player by now, I heavily recommend you to make the swap as soon as possible, because you have hardly anything to lose. I'd only ever argue for people not to switch inputs if they were like an up and coming solid competitive player that had thousands of earnings, great mechanics, etc. Because they've obviously got something going for them right now and it would be a bad idea to hurt that momentum. And now how to learn keyboard and mouse after switching from controller is easy. I want you to first of all just focus on mechanical skill through free building and complex edit courses, etc. Once you get pretty good at that, I want you to start adding in low pressure 1v1s against some terrible players. And then once you start getting good at that, I want you to start adding in 1v1s against average skill players and also ranked. And then once you've got kind of good at all of that, then I want you to start adding in scrims again. If you put the work in, it's going to take you about 3 to 4 weeks to reach like 80% of your usual mechanical skill that you had in controller. You made it through this whole video, so there's something I'm sure you'd be interested in, bro. My free email newsletter where I post heaps of unique advice and tips and tricks you don't see in my YouTube videos, so join for free using the link in the description of this video.